It's kind of like Joey Gallo. Every once in a while, Ethan hits a home run.
Nobody
And
knows
when
what
we
he
say
had.
home run, we mean he shows up only 2 minutes late for recording.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, do you? Oh, wait. Did I see that? You
Oh,
got
yeah,
your Bourdain.
yeah.
Yeah, I got two. I got a baseball themed one too. Since Andrew.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
baseball guy. But I want to start with
Nice.
the Bourdain.
All right, sweet. Same. Nice. We're twinsies.
Got a nice, lovely, warm name to this beer, Colin. You know what it's called?
A warm name? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
that gives you the nice warm fuzzies. It's called Bone in the Throat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means or what it's referring to, but there's a big long quote from Anthony Bourdain on the side of this.
Is that what the beers that you guys are drinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. From who's it from? From Evil Twin, but for Root and Branch. What's that
Now
name?
the Gypsy Brewed. So Root and Branch is a brewing company.
Ah.
Well, until 2 weeks ago, didn't own their own brewery, so they would brew it at Evil Twin.
Mm. That's cool. Well, first couple sips are real tasty.
Yeah.
What kind
I
of
like
beer
it.
is it? IPA?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
What you're drinking too, Matt? Are you drinking the same thing? Literally
yeah.
same things?
But I also got so the beer fest I went to this past weekend was baseball themed. So a lot of their beers have like baseball cards on them with
Nice.
they just took their beer names and made them like old timey baseball names. So this is Cab Patches because they've got a beer called Cabbage. So it's Cab Patches.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like it a lot.
Um,
Boy, Trevino just got a hit. I'll give you a shout out every single time Trevino does something good, Matt. He just picked off Walls at third base to end the bottom of the fourth when they had the bases loaded.
Oh, no shit.
So make a good play. Joe Pallone, shout out to Joe if he's listening to this. His dad used to always say, if you make a great play in the field, you'll get a hit when you come up to the plate. I don't think I ever got a hit when he said that to me, but that was his thing.
Nice.
Yep. All right, I've got so just a shout out to Dalvin.
Delvin.
Tropic Burst from Heist Brewing, one of
Heist.
Matt's places that he really wants to explore a little bit more down here in Charlotte.
You got to go
Very
to Burial
good.
too when they open. By the way,
A what?
they're called Burial.
Mm,
They're gonna open soon down there. You got to go.
okay.
Shout out Matty Moore. Excuse me, if he's listening. He works for Burial up in Asheville.
Nice.
Yeah, this is probably one of the fruitiest IPAs I've had in a long time. It's tangerine, passion fruit, and vanilla, and you can definitely get the vanilla like at the end. You get that that little touch, and
A
it's
little milkshake action for you tonight.
yeah. We were talking on Father's Day, and he was heading to a brewery down in Fort what was it, Fort Hill, Fort Rock, I can't remember what the city is down in South Carolina. And he was we were just talking about beers, and he's like, come on over, I got something to give you. So he's got a fridge in his garage and just gave me that, and I was like, all right, I'll drink it on the pod on Wednesday. That's easy for me.
Nice.
Is it Rock Hill?
Rock Hill. Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what the brewery was, but
Well, there is Rock Hill Brewing Company and Slow Play Brewing Company.
yeah, I can't imagine there's a ton of breweries in Rock Hill. It's a developing area, but it's not like a huge city by any means or anything like that. So it could have been one of those, but
It's nothing like, I mean, the bustling metropolises that we know, like Scranton or Syracuse.
Scranton has one brewery, and it is not open like until Fridays or something like that, because the reason I know is because the last two times I've tried to go, like when we've been in, and we just haven't been able, like they haven't been open on the days that we've been there, and then like the days like the one time was my brother's birthday wedding. So we weren't, going during the wedding and everything, but
Oh, they've got to have. Come on, they've got to have more than one brewery, right? They've got Lion's Head up there, right?
if they do, it's outside the city.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, this is like right in the city. That was as of last year. I don't know, maybe they've had some post-pandemic things open up, but
There's a town in between Scranton and Clark Summit called Chinchilla.
mm-hmm.
Why didn't I know that?
Hilarious.
Yeah, Matt, you need to know all this. You live in Pennsylvania now.
Normally I do. Oh, Boris, come on, get
Podcat. Let's see the podcast.
Podcast.
Cause him. Oh, he's running away. Doesn't want to star on today's episode right now.
A little shy tonight.
Doesn't want to take Matt's thunder away.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, speaking of beer, though, it's a scary time down here.
Down
three
here,
of the main
where you are.
Well, the three of the main beer distributors in Philly are on strike right now.
Whoa.
The city may run out of beer.
Holy
before
shit.
the 4th of July holiday.
Good for them.
Wait, so why are they on strike?
I have no idea.
Worker strike, obviously.
Yeah,
right. It wouldn't,
Like,
the business wouldn't shut down. Yeah.
I love it.
No, the distributor is striking from Budweiser until they brew better tasting beer. No, so yeah, I mean, good thing, it's not like I've got a, shortage of beer here. So
yeah.
Plus, with what Ethan and I have been doing has been working well. We've been just shipping it in from out of state. Thank you, other half.
Exactly.
Is that just a Philadelphia thing though? Like, or is that something
I think
that
it's
could
just
happen
down here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it was national, we would have all heard about it.
Well, got to start somewhere, That's why I'm asking. Like, is it something specific that's like, how you were talking about? There was the Me Too kind of caught up to the brewery, like kind of 4 years after Me Too first started and everything. So I didn't know if there was like another scandal or something going through.
Well, actually, that's a good segue. So speaking of that, so I told you guys at the maybe I didn't at Logjam at the Philly Festival. The lager festival that I had way too much to drink at.
Stoop drunk.
I ran into the person who started that Me Too movement. Her Instagram handle is called Rat Magnet. She's the one that actually started the whole, like, essentially talk about a time you've been talked down to or discriminated against or harassed because you're a woman in craft beer.
So you're talking about in the industry?
In the industry. She's the one that started it in the industry. And of course I went over and said thank you and told her it was awesome that she did that. And I was glad that, I'm sorry that she had to endure that, but I'm glad that she was posting it because it was great to bring it to light. I like to think that I said it eloquently and succinctly, but based on my condition of the day, I bet I was not. But anyway, she was very gracious anyway and dealt with my drunkenness. So anyway, there's a push to try and rectify that. And part of the proceeds of this beer fest that Human Robot had, which I'm wearing their shirt for, Log Jammin'.
Nice. That's really cool.
Part of the proceeds are to go to support brewing scholarships. And so they awarded it today to a female brewer up at Notch Brewing, I believe up in Massachusetts, who is taking classes at the Siebel Brewing Institute, which is a world famous brewing institute in the Chicago area. Back in the day when I thought I was going to open my own brewery, I was looking at taking courses there. Let me finish. So this brewer is taking.
You're going to open a brewery
to support this female brewer. She won the scholarship. So
That's really good.
a couple people made a post saying thank you for putting your money where your mouth is and supporting what you believe. So that was really good to see. And I hope there's more. And I guess I got to say, the base Notch is well known already. So that brewer is already doing a great job. But it's nice to see them continuing to support more people in the community.
I don't know if you heard me when you were rambling, but I said you will open a brewery.
Yeah, I heard you. I was talking over you purposely. So.
Oh man.
You just, why are you being so modest about it? Like, you're gonna open it in like 10 years. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, it didn't happen when you were in your 20s, but like it's still gonna be awesome, and I'll still be there to support you.
Because it's a saturated market and a very difficult time to open a brewery right now. So
Yeah, but I think like, if, like with anything, like if you do it right and you stick to it, you'll survive.
well, no, you need money and you need a good brewer. You got to have good product. You guys have seen that. There's a bajillion breweries opening up right now, and a good chunk of them are just kind of,
Well, Ethan and I will support you with the capital. We'll be your venture capitalist.
Oh yeah,
VCs.
because I'm loaded with capital. We know that.
That's right. Ethan, just take out another loan. What does it mean? Like,
That's true. At this point, yeah, you're right.
What is debt? Yeah, I don't know.
weren't you the one that once said that you've come to terms with the fact that you're gonna die in like mountains of debt or something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. Well, I've come to terms with that in multiple ways, right? So, the extra meaning there is that I'm gonna die with mountains of debt because the world is gonna end, like, in the next 20 or 30 years, right? So I won't even get to live out like a full lifespan.
There it is. There's Ethan.
So I won't even get like a full 70 or 80 years, right? The world, whether it's nuclear annihilation or climate annihilation, or the robots are gonna kill us, the AI, it's all gonna be over before the money issues in this world have been fixed. So yeah, I am gonna die with mountains of debt. I've accepted that, But when the robots come and take me, I won't give a fuck. So it's fine.
And you were going for the big mainstream theories. You got but robots and climate change and nuclear holocaust. What about the fringe stuff, like sentient vegetables taking their revenge on us or something? That could happen too. You never know. You never know.
Oh my God. Matt has been getting into something recently.
Yeah,
I like that. I want some of it.
I'm trying to kill some time before our guest gets on. What better than to be ridiculous?
Then, like the people from the cans on the other half beers, like Cab Patches is gonna come to life.
Yeah, I mean he looks like he could be a
cabbage. Yeah.
a good Ty Cobb replica. Just sharpen up those spikes and start goring people to death. Which, by the way, and I can't remember who it was. I was listening to a Yankees game a couple weeks ago, and the color commentator was talking about sharpening his spikes and sliding in spikes up to break up plays, and I was like, you can't say that these days. If you did that in a game today, you would get plunked, in perpetuity.
I mean, it's probably Paul O'Neill, right?
Probably get suspended.
No, I thought it was like K or Cone.
I mean, they were just like reminiscing, or like
no. They were critiquing someone's slide and saying they should have gone in harder and sharpen your spikes, go spikes up. Like, ooh, wow. That's for the non-baseball folks out there, that is something that
Chase Utley ended.
Well, Ty Cobb, who is in the Hall of Fame, but is an all-around terrible person, between racism and he's very mean, just a mean person. There's stories of him like getting shot in the back, chasing the guy, or getting stabbed, chasing the guy down who stabbed him, pulling a gun on him. The gun misfired, so it beat the guy to death with just the gun and the sight on the gun. Then he got on a train and went to Syracuse and played an exhibition baseball game, and then got the stab wound taken care of, because he's just a mean son of a gun. But anyway, he's known for that, for sharpening his spikes and sliding in and trying to, opposing players knew that he had sharpened spikes. And, if you were a second baseman and Ty Cobb was bearing down on you, you would get out of the way. So, but anyway,
started with Ty Cobb, ended with Chase Utley, and welcomes Andrew Rotondi to the show.
What's up, guys? I don't know that my name's ever been said with those two guys in the same sentence. I guess compliment. I don't know. Ty Cobb no longer seen as a good guy around baseball history anymore.
Well, and I will say shout out to Jim Ertz for lending me the Al Stump Cobb biography back in the day, and letting me discover how truly terrible a person he was.
That's how you came with all those facts.
Yeah, I will credit Al Stump for that. I remember that one specifically because he went to Syracuse for an exhibition game back when Syracuse was an attractive city on the East Coast. Sorry, Syracuse, I love you, but come on. But anyway, we're not going to talk about Ty Cobb all night. Come on.
No. Well, we got Andrew here, and if those listening don't know, Andrew co-hosts the Bronx Pinstripes. It's been a fun season to this point, and it's been nice to hear Andrew and Scott on the show be happy for a pretty long stretch on the podcast. been a frustrating couple of years. So far it's been all good.
It's funny, Colin. I was talking to someone earlier today, actually, and they're like, "Oh, you must have great podcast content. This is great. The Yankees got the best record in the league." I'm like, you'd think that, but it's actually easier to do a show when they're, I don't want to say stink, because that's not fun. Believe me, the last couple of years of doing the show every week were not fun. But when there's like more things you can point to improve on, that's the ideal state. Although I'm certainly not going to trade what's happened so far this year for anything.
Yeah. So what's that been like? That was actually going to be one of my first questions, is like being a fan, but also being someone who heavily reports on the team for the podcast. Like, have you been able to enjoy the specialness of the year so far?
Probably not as much as just like a regular fan, but I don't even want to say it's because I do, do the podcast or whatever. It's probably because there's more going on in my life now than there ever was before. It's like I got a 1.5-year-old at home, so like most of the time I'm watching the game on my iPad, which is what I'm doing right now, as I'm doing other things around the house. So like certainly have probably not enjoyed the ride as much as I would if there's like 10 years ago and I was just worried about my 9-to-5 job, and that's really my only responsibility. I could just drink a few beers and watch the game every single night. That those days, for at least for a little while, I think are behind me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I mean, the season's been great. I feel like the first, other than the first 2 weeks where they looked like same old and people were acting like the sky was falling, that next month or so stretch where they turned into the team we see right now, I still think people were like, well, let's see, because we've seen enough of a sample over the past couple of years to think otherwise. But we're in the middle of June and they don't even have 20 losses, so I feel like they're at least legit at this point. And now it's trying to identify the areas where they can improve, because even though they've got the best record, they certainly can improve, and maintaining from the guys that we've seen good stuff from so far.
What are some, just based on your observations and everything, like the trade deadline's roughly a month away, and
Stole my question.
Stealing your question.
Yeah.
But he brought it up. I'm like, all right,
No,
what are those areas we can improve on for the team?
I think bullpen depth, certainly. I think we saw it this week with the meltdown over the weekend in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then, late in the game, even the game that the Yankees won against Tampa, Clay Holmes hadn't given up a run since opening day. He gives up a run, and so it's like you kind of crossing your fingers with Wandy Peralta. I mean, I like obviously I love what Holmes has done. I love what King has done. But with Chapman out and then a question mark whenever he does come back, and Loaisiga, like I feel like Loaisiga's injury is way more serious than anyone has let on. He had this at the end of last year and it's sort of cropped up again. Like, I don't think we can bank on Loaisiga coming back and being like a solid contributor. So I think they need to acquire a bullpen arm. We were talking on the pod, like David Robertson's going to be available. And he's a quality guy that can pitch the 6th, 7th, or 8th inning, the 9th inning, if you really need him to. But so, a guy or two like that, who they can get some big outs from, I think is probably the number one thing. Up until a couple weeks ago, when I realized Aaron Judge is actually like gonna be there just full-time center fielder, I was thinking they should acquire someone who could play center field defense, but shit, I mean, Judge is doing it just fine. So I wouldn't even say center field. And from a position player standpoint, okay, you add someone who's coming out, who's leaving the roster.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's really bullpen. Now, injuries could happen. Injuries will happen because they always do. But at this point, it's bullpen.
Yeah.
Now, are you keeping your fingers crossed like I am? I think it's a long shot, but one of the bullpen arm pieces that could come back into play is Zach Britton. They're saying he's ahead of schedule, but I'm still very skeptical based on how he ended last season, or his last time games last season.
Yeah, we were actually looking at this. So he didn't have like full Tommy John surgery. He had like this new Tommy John procedure that is going to get him back sooner than ordinarily would, which is like a year to a year plus normally for Tommy John. So yeah, he could be back, I guess, August. But like I hate banking on a guy coming back from injury. Like whatever you get from Britain is gravy in my mind. Like don't plan your trade deadline around Zach Britton coming back and contributing.
Yeah, I would be happy with 80% of old Britain. Like, give me a 6th or 7th guy who can reliably get outs most of the time. Because Litke doesn't look like he did. Loizaga doesn't look like he did. Ridings, who was only we got 6 or 8 innings out of him last year, doesn't look like he's coming off the IL anytime soon. As much as I would love to see the Red Rocket back, he's I don't know if he's a heavy leverage guy anytime soon. So yeah, I think we do need to add an arm. I just don't know who that might be.
Yeah, I think it's arms for it. So because it'll be interesting what happens with the rotation as the summer goes on, because Severino might need innings workload. Cortez might need some innings workload. Tyon might need some, like literally all of them except Cole might need innings workload. So you might be relying on more outside of your bullpen or spot starts from guys.
Or Domingo again. Fingers crossed. Don't rely on him. Don't plan on him.
Yeah, it could be Domingo Herman. Like who knows? I think if we're talking about for the regular season, like adding another bullpen arm or two certainly will add depth, which is good. If we want to like play this scenario out for the playoffs, it's like they've got 5 legit starting pitchers right now, so they're not all going to start. So one of them will go to the bullpen. So that is another guy you can add to the bullpen for the playoffs. But so much will change between now and October. Like so much is going to change. I even feel silly bringing that up.
Yeah, and I think so we talk about the bullpen. I tend to agree there. I think like for me, it's so you're talking about management with the pitching staff. I'm starting to think about, as much as Judge has been killing it out in center, I'm like, I don't know. Do I want him playing 120 games out in center field this season? Like, is that ultimately going to be best for him? And so like one of the pieces I'm interested to see if they can find on the market, or maybe they have somebody down in the system that they can call up to do this, but it's kind of like that Ben Zobrist type player who can, really play anywhere. And to me, the expendable player is Matt Carpenter. Like, I think that's the easy one to take off the roster. I don't see what he's been doing standing up, much longer. I think he's already been fading, and it's like, yeah, he plays 2 positions, but if you find someone who's got more versatility, can play infield and outfield positions, and you can move Judge around, and you can, take Gallo and all those other guys. Like, I think for me that add in a little bit more flexibility. I was thinking about this earlier today. It's not Tyler Wade, but it's someone way better than Tyler Wade. So it's Ben Zobrist. That's why I came up with him.
Well, don't forget Marwin.
Right. Well, Marwin kind of has a roster spot always, as long as they don't have someone else who can play shortstop.
Yeah.
So like, I know Glaber started at shortstop last night, but that's the first time all season.
Yeah.
And like, why mess with Glaber? He's been back to what we saw pre whenever he made that switch after they let Didi go.
2020 was
2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're seeing like the all-star version of Glaber Torres back at second base. Like, don't mess with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's why, like, it's when I'm talking about that versatility, I'm talking about someone. I don't know Marwin can play center field. Like, I'm talking someone who can
No.
spell Judge in center and not be Aaron Hicks. Although Hicks has been having a decent June. So
Tim LaCastro was actually playing well when he was on the roster
Yeah.
before he got hurt, and he's a great defender, really fast. So like, I don't know, like the thing is just like with the way their bench is, they're doing this 4-man bench thing with Marwin, Carpenter, backup catcher, whoever's not playing, and then the extra outfielder. Like that's what they've been doing, and it's working, right? So it's like if you add LaCastro back, that's Carpenter's spot, but LaCastro can't play the infield. So actually Carpenter has more versatility than LaCastro does.
True. Yeah.
So it's like if you can find a player that can play corner infield and center field, great. I don't think that guy exists though. like who is this? Who is this creative player you've invented that is good enough to play center field and third base?
Yeah. And it's almost like it's a good problem to have. I mean, they've been relatively injury free, and I know Matt's favorite player, Joey Gallo, has not performed.
I was wrong on him too. I said he was going to lead the team in home runs this year.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Judge is going to hit 65.
I've hated on him since we got him. I agreed with the move. I did say I agreed with Cash making the move, but I've been critical of it since. So
yeah, how could you not be? He's been terrible. He's been terrible since they've acquired him.
At least Hicks is approaching, like Hicks has almost got a better batting average than Donaldson by now. So he's at least approaching passable.
There's been a couple stretches where Joey Gallo looks okay. Like you slice and dice the data. It's like, oh, over his last 15 games, he's got a 900 OPS, or it's like, we've done this a couple times where we've looked at it, but it's just, there's no consistency. I talked to a couple months ago when the season started, talked to Brian Kenny from MLB Network. He was on the pod and he crushed Joey Gallo. And I was surprised because I figured Joey Gallo was like a Brian Kenny type of guy, like advanced metrics, like Joey Gallo, barrel percentage, all that crap. And Brian Kenny was like, I just use my eyeballs with him. There's too many terrible non-competitive at-bats that just he's overmatched, does nothing, provides no value. If there's runners on base, doesn't move runners. If you need a fly ball, he's going to swing and miss. Same pitch up in the strike zone at the letters every single time. It's just too many at bats that end up in 0 from Joey Gallo. They've lived with it. It's 1 out of 9 they've lived with. They couldn't live with it the last couple of years when it was 6 out of 9 were the 0 at bats. But now that it's really just Gallo, Hicks for the most part has been nothing. Like everyone else at least goes up to the plate and has a productive at bat in some way. Even if it ends with an out, it's not like a completely trash at bat.
Yeah. I think it was most telling the other night when they pinch hit Trevino for Gallo.
Yeah.
That was Sunday, right?
Yeah.
In Toronto. Yeah.
I mean,
after Gallo hit a homer, right? In that game.
They don't let Gallo face left-handed pitching anymore. Like he's only facing righties, which is fine. Like he's played his way out of a full-time player. He's now a platoon player. Like that's what he started himself into. It's fine. But yeah, they don't let him face lefties anymore.
Do you think he's traded by the end of July?
No, because his salary is
10 million.
It's large enough where no one's just going to be like, sure, we'll take that. Like, no, he's a free agent after this year. There's no point in trading him.
Yeah.
I mean, they could waive him. I guess if like push comes to shove, you could waive him and then someone might claim him, but I don't see him being traded.
Yeah, there would have to be someone who, like Mookie going down, like say it doesn't work out in Los Angeles with the replacements that they've had. Maybe they're looking for an outfielder if the Padres start running away with the division or something, but like you'd have to be in a pretty dire situation after how he's played the last 2 seasons to want to trade and take on that salary,
Yeah. And, if you're the Yankees, it's like, what are you trading him for? What are you going to get back? A single A mid-level like pitching prospect, like you got 75 of them in the minors. Like it's like there's no point.
Yeah, it's not going to get you the immediate return for this season.
No.
Yeah.
Ethan, you've been pretty quiet. We've got like the bastion of Yankees knowledge here. What's on your mind?
Ethan, are you a Yankees fan?
Oh yeah, huge. Oh, he's fucking. No, I'm just really tired. I slept like shit, and then I had a long day. I'm really tired, but I did come prepared with one question for Andrew. I want to know, on a scale of 9 to 10, how responsible is Aaron Boone for the Yankees' success this year?
So I'm recalling our last episode we did together. I think we talked quite a bit about Aaron Boone.
Yeah, we did.
The best compliment a manager can get is when you don't talk about him. He's like the umpires. If you don't notice the manager, if he doesn't get in the way of winning, that means he's doing his job. Boone has done that. He has not gotten in the way of winning. He's pushed some right buttons, like him identifying, I don't know if it's him or whatever. Judge center field pretty much full time. That's worked out. Him basically removing Higgy from catching Cole and putting Trevino in there. It's like, if we want to say one guy's a starting catcher, it's kind of Trevino. Okay, so that's been a right move. So he's done a lot of good things, but I mean, ultimately, if we're like giving credit in a credit pie, you got to give more credit to Cashman for the pieces that he's built this current roster with, and even like Matt Blake and the pitching coaches for turning the pitching staff into the best in baseball.
Yeah. I think Matt Blake does not nearly get enough credit as he should. And there's still other moves that he's making right now. I sent Ethan and Colin a note a couple weeks ago when the Yankees picked up Danny Salazar. And Ethan and Colin were like, "Who's that?" And I was like, he was a decent pitcher for the Indians, but that's a Matt Blake move. That's something he worked with in Cleveland.
Yeah.
High ceiling, high potential, stash him in AAA. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. But I mean, the amount of success that I think we can attribute to his work is incredible. And I'm really glad we took a chance on him, right? He was just a director of pitching development or directing of pitching analytics or some weird title that the Indians had. And
I mean, he was at a college in Massachusetts, and then he went to Cleveland, and then he came to the Yankees. He was never a pitching coach prior to being with the Yankees. And we're seeing the first couple of years, obviously it was during COVID and weird seasons. Like, I feel like this is probably the first I guess last year was the first full season, but we're seeing
more normal.
The efforts that he's put in over the past year and a half translate into this season. But like, also the pitching staff was good last year.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't this good, but the pitching staff was not the reason the Yankees stunk last year. It was the offense and the defense being terrible. Like, that's another thing. Good defense, like smart baseball players, like making aggressive plays on the base paths, not making outs on the bases. So good base running and just catching the ball is another reason why this team has been night and day versus last year.
Yeah. And that reminds me, I've said it to Matt and Ethan a bunch of times, and I've said it to you, Andrew, in separate conversations. The best move this off season was the addition by subtraction. Getting rid of Gary Sanchez was just a game changer. Like, you can just see a totally different, Gary's great. He's not. He's a good. He's not.
Thank you.
I try not to be too harsh. Like,
we wanted Gary Sanchez to be great because we saw him be great in 16 and 17.
Yeah.
But since then, he was not great.
Yeah.
And everything that Gary Sanchez represented, and it's not entirely his fault, but what he represented, from the all or nothing at bats to the terrible defense and pitchers not trusting him, to the uncertainty of if he's even the starting catcher or not, and that circus controversy, all of that represented the reasons why this team failed in 2020 and 2021. And like you said, removing that, putting two catchers that are not brand names, but just are going to do their job Like Trevino's the number one framer in baseball. That is another huge reason why the pitching staff has been so good.
Yeah, we've got two like backup plus catchers, and
Yeah.
Higgy is underperforming, and I'd say Trevino is overperforming, but combined, what they mean to the team is enormous. Like whether it's defense, pitching, the offensive production that Trevino's had, like, and yeah, I was kind of trying to rub it in Colin and Ethan's face the other night, like Trevino getting it done at the plate, whether it's needing a sac fly or getting a walk. I mean, he's had 2 walk-off hits this year.
Yeah.
He's got almost as many home runs as Joey Gallo. Like,
right.
Can he sustain this? No. But is he a huge reason that we're having success? Yeah.
Like he's not going to be I think he was like a 130 WRC plus offensive player, which means he's 30% better than league average. Like, no, he's not that, but he doesn't have to be that.
No.
He's going to still always be good defensively. And, the funny thing is Higgy, he always got credit for being such a good framer. He's like middle of the pack for framing so far this year. But maybe that he just got so much credit because he was being compared to Gary Sanchez. I don't know. But yeah, overall the catching tandem has been valuable.
Yeah. And I don't think none of us are in the clubhouse, so we're never going to be able to make this direct link. But I mean, you see the part of it, the reason that Gleyber's playing better is because I think he's in his more comfortable, natural position at second base. But yeah, from what's been reported, Gleyber and Gary were relatively close. And I mean, I just have to think there's some correlation there between the attitude that Gleyber had the last couple of years versus the way that he's playing now. And I also think like Cashman really did send a message to the team where it's like, we don't care what you did in the past. Like, we'll trade you. Like if it's not working out, we'll get rid of you. So, I think that probably lit a fire too.
Gleyber and Gio were super close too. And they got rid of Gio too. So it's like you got rid of Gleyber's 2 buddies. Maybe those 2 buddies weren't the best influence on him because he was just getting worse and worse. Like he was on a trajectory to be like out of baseball before he's 28 years old. That's how bad he was going. Like he was on this trajectory where it's like the Yankees were going to give up on him and then some team would pick him up and it was like his last chance. It's like if he doesn't catch on with the Colorado Rockies or the freaking Kansas City Royals, that's it for Gleyber Torres.
Like Clint Frazier.
Clint Frazier, you see he's changing his name?
Changed his name.
To
Yeah.
what now? What is this? I saw a headline.
Jackson, I think.
It's his middle name, yeah.
Yeah.
I just love
Jackson
that
Frazier.
he was giving the Yankees shit and then like the next day he was cut.
Not the next day, like 5 hours later. Didn't even
in New York.
Didn't even get to play a game against the Yankees. I was a defender of Clint Frazier because I feel like he was like in certain instances was getting unnecessary criticism, but like, dude, no one to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, similar to Gary, he had a season and a half where he was very valuable and where he looked like maybe just one season where he looked like a world beater.
No, but I mean, he never even had the success Gary had. Like Gary Sanchez was an all-star.
Oh no. Yeah. No, he wasn't a potential rookie of the year candidate for half a season.
Yeah. No, like he had a flash. He's just one of these guys I think that thought he was owed something and never got that. I mean, the concussion I think probably didn't help. Yeah. So I feel bad. I feel bad for that he when was that 2019 that he had the season long concussion
and that
problems?
was his best year. I'm looking at it now. 69 games that year. That's his career high. 806 OPS. Like he was playing well that year.
Yeah, and I think it was like middle of the year that it happened.
But he got concussed in spring training. So I might be mixing up the years.
Oh, but here's something. This is depressing. Now I'm going off of Baseball Reference, right? So I'm looking at 2019 and I'm like, oh yeah, so he had an 806 OPS. He played, that's his career high games played, 111 OPS plus, 12 homers, solid year. Go down to the player value stuff. Now, obviously we know defensive stats can vary wildly depending on what it is, but in 2019 on a Baseball Reference, he was negative 0.1. His offense was 0.8. His defense was negative 1.2 in 69 games. Holy fuck.
That was the season that he like had the yips out in right field. Yep. Remember that game against the Red Sox where it's like he just completely whiffed on like 3 fly balls? Yeah.
Oof.
He was completely lost. He had, he was okay offensively, and actually he was good offensively in the COVID season.
Yeah.
I think he had a pretty good season offensively in 2020.
Yeah,
I
think
remember
that sounds
correctly.
right.
Yeah, he actually was playing really
He
well in
started hot.
2020.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, 905 OPS. Yeah.
905 OPS. And then obviously just never. He had a chance, I think, in 2021, but he just could never put it together, and Brett Gardner kept taking his job away from him. Which by the way, also Brett Gardner, the greatest team leader in Yankees history, no longer on the Yankees, and the Yankees have the best record in baseball. No, I'm not saying anything bad about Brett Gardner. I just think we all overrated how valuable he was in that clubhouse the past couple of years.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you guys miss the vandalism to dugout roofs?
I do not miss a 40-year-old man throwing a temper tantrum every time he struck out. No, I don't.
I just remember anytime he'd play the Yankees would play the Indians, all my Cleveland friends would be like, Brett Gardner is such a bitch. Like, he struck out. Just go sit down. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of true.
I like Brett Gardner. I just think, like, as a fan base, we overrated the impact that he was having in that clubhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just that. It's simply that.
Do we think Gardy's done? Like, there's no chance he's coming back at this point, right?
I joked like he'll have a contract by July, but the team's going so well that they, what would he do?
Yeah.
Well, right. He turned down, right? He got an offer from the Blue Jays, a pretty meaty
Yes.
offer that he turned down. So
Yeah,
if he's not going to take that, then I think he's done. You're right.
he would. And like, let's play out the scenario, right? Like the Yankees need a defensive outfielder who can run the bases. I'll take Tim LeCastro over Brett Gardner at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
At
Brett,
age,
can you play third base? Nope. Okay. Yeah.
lefty third baseman. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's done. He'll have a fun applause at Old Timers Day.
If anything, the Yankees do have an outfielder that can play third base. It's just not someone I would trust in center field, and that's Andujar.
Oh my God.
But
Yes,
but again, wouldn't trust
God.
in center field. So not going to make that leap. But I'm just saying we do have a third baseman that can play outfield.
He's not
Sure.
a third baseman.
I think he has a
poor
better
dude.
chance at playing center field this year for the Yankees than third base.
Agreed.
Yes. Between Carpenter, Donaldson, and LeMahieu, yes.
Once he didn't start that, what was it, the 2018 Division Series game against the Red Sox, I was like, they clearly don't trust him at third base, even though he had a great hitting season.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah. Who'd they start? Hechavarria? Hechavarria that they had?
Oh yeah, man, I forgot about that.
God.
Was he another one we stole from the Pirates, or was he a Tigers acquisition that year? I can't remember.
Who knows?
Just
Who knows?
real quick, Gardy hit 28 homers in 2019.
Oh, I remember.
Everyone hit
2019. What the
28
fuck
homers.
was happening with the balls that year? I mean, that's the year Glaber hit 38. What was going on with the balls?
Yeah.
It was a
Brett Gardner.
golf ball.
28 homers as a 35-year-old. Brett Gardner. What the fuck?
What was
Go to-
his career high besides that year?
Well, he actually hit 21 in 2017, which I'm thinking maybe the balls were a little bit juicy then too. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
the balls were juiced at midseason 2016. That's when that athletic article that went in depth about the baseballs, like the change happened mid-season 2016.
that explains it then. Yeah.
Now a couple quick stats. So number one, Judge hit his 26th tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The 1998 Yankees, the team leader in home runs that year was Tino Martinez, 28.
Wow.
The Judge is about to surpass that. And also, the Yankees have 4 players on pace for 30-plus home runs this year. Stanton, Rizzo, Torres, and Judge. They've never had that happen before. So I hope we keep
Really?
that up.
Wow.
Never in history. That's surprising.
That's
actually.
crazy.
Never. So I heard that last night during the game. So I'm hoping that's that comes to fruition. So
Because I've seen this question posted a bunch online. Who are you taking, the 2022 Yankees or the 98 Yankees?
Ooh.
It's not even close, guys.
I mean, I'm taking this team.
I'm taking this team too.
Even though we don't know the outcome yet, this team's way better.
How are you saying that?
I mean, yeah, they had at least two Hall of Famers. What, Jeter and Rivera?
Yeah, Jeter led the team in WAR that year. Remember that. So
Yeah,
But-
I just this team is stacked in my opinion.
Oh,
Like,
the 98 team wasn't stacked?
no, they were. The 98 team had depth. I'll give them that. Like maybe some of the depth that we were talking about earlier in the episode, like that may be the one thing that they're missing right now. But you put their top 9 out against that 98 top 9, like this team's gonna win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I guess up and down the lineup, the names, some of the names on the 98 team probably don't look as sexy. Like there was a lot of veteran guys that had really good years.
Hideki Irabu.
Yeah, Deki Rabu.
Mm.
But like they had Darryl Strawberry playing left field. They had
Chili Davis.
Chili
Chad
Davis.
Curtis, Scott Brocious.
But I mean, if sometimes I think the 99 team was almost more complete than the 98 team.
Yeah.
They just didn't win as many games, which sounds stupid, but I just don't think they tried as hard probably. That 99 team was a wagon. I don't know. We'll see where this it's a different game though. It's like a completely different game.
Yeah.
Also, it's like I saw people comparing the pitching stats and they're like, oh, the 2.8 ERA, 2.9 ERA. The league average ERA in 1998 was like 4.8. Okay. Like you can't compare the ERA numbers. You have to look at the league average numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what do we think about, Judgy matching Maris at the very least? Think we can get there?
It'll, I mean, I guess for him, it'll see how he stays healthy throughout the summer.
Yeah.
And
If
like
he stays healthy, yeah.
see how he stays strong. Mark McGuire always used to, he did that documentary about the 98 season recently, like maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And he, not so, subtly was like, oh, the hardest part was staying strong through the middle of the summer when it's the dog days of August. It's like, well, how did I stay strong? I took a bunch of steroids.
And
okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's not a steroid. It's just something that your body converts to a steroid. But when I took it, it wasn't a steroid. Like,
but like, so with Judge, we saw him sit last night. He hadn't sat, I think, since April 30th. And over the past 4 or 5 games, he was in a little bit of a slump. Hadn't hit a home run, was in a little bit of a slump. Like that happens when you play every day. You get tired. So I think they're going to have to manage that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think he could do it. I don't know. I'm not doubting Aaron Judge, the person and the player, because obviously he's phenomenal, but like, I just can't see him playing 120 games, 120 plus games in center field, being completely healthy and mashing 65 homers or whatever pace he's on right now. I mean, I hope he proves me wrong, but that just doesn't seem realistic to me right now.
Let me just tell you, if he hits 60 this year, I will drive to Baltimore and I will piss all over Camden Yards. Because fuck that left field and the 2 home runs that is taken away from Judge so far this year. Oh man, I'm gonna be so angry. That's like Andrew. I've seen 2 games in Camden so far this year, and I'm pissed at both of them because I hate that left field right now. Like, I mean, I hear you that they stole home runs from Judge. I like that the Orioles changed their park though. Like they weren't against changing the dimensions of their field to better their team. Now I think they maybe made it a little bit too drastic because it's freaking huge now. The park factor shift was just incredible. Like, one of the most hitter friendly parks went to one of the most pitcher friendly parks in 1 year, and they're like estimating 18 home runs have been taken away because of that.
Yeah. Well, Stanton hit the first home run to left field by a visiting player when they were there in May. It was like a full month of games before a visiting player hit home run to left field. Yeah. If given the choice between a bandbox and a pitcher friendly park, I'll take a pitcher friendly park. It's just I feel like it's overall more fair than just like pop-ups leaving. Like sometimes the home runs to Yankee Stadium right field, I'm just like, oh God, really? Like we're doing this, whether it's the Yankees or the opposing team. I'm like that is a medium deep fly ball at every other stadium, and that's 2 rows deep. Come on.
When
guys.
I was there on Labor Day last year, there was 2 home runs the Blue Jays hit that were just like, oh, that's a pop out. Oh wait, that's a home run. Oh shit, twice.
So-
Like,
it all evens out.
You guys have any other Yankee specific questions? I have one more baseball question that all of us I think should chime in on, but I'll see if you guys have anything.
does IKF hit a home run this year? Like, I mean,
Not at Camden Yards, he doesn't.
I'm happy. Like, he's a good addition. Especially, Michael Kalo's talking about how he's like the third string catcher on the team too. He seems to bring it up all the time, even though he probably won't catch a game this year. But
I think he ends up poking one out to right field at Yankee Stadium.
like a 316 footer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Statcast will tell us it's a home run in 1 out of 30 parks. But
Yeah.
Like
One or
97
two.
mile
One or
an
two.
hour
Maybe it
exit
would have
velo.
gone out around the pesky pole or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say if you put the over under at 1.5, I'll take the under. But I do think he'll hit one. Whatever.
He had 7 1 year, 7 or 8, and when he was with the Rangers. But again, that was in the old Ranger Stadium, which was just a Homer Dome. So
Was that one of the juice ball years too?
yeah, probably.
Yeah. He got real close. I was joking about it with my brother the one day, and he did poke one out to right field at Yankee Stadium, and I think it went like 5 feet foul. And I was like, literally, that's the only way. Like, if he hits the foul pole, like,
I mean, he's got to be better than Jason Tyner. Come on, you guys remember Jason Tyner? He's got to be better than him,
Oh
right?
my God, I forgot about that guy.
1 professional home run in the Rays system forever. He
Holy
looked like
shit.
if you took like,
First round draft pick.
yeah, but like he looked like if Jeremy played baseball right now, and like I'm talking like high school Jeremy, Ethan's brother. No slight to Jeremy, but I'm just saying he does not look like a pro athlete. So
Jeremy now is pretty ripped. I'll have you.
I know Jeremy now it looks more like a pro athlete. Yeah.
so he took the CC Sabathia route, got ripped after his athletic days.
Right.
Well, okay. Well, wait. Speaking of that, that's a good segue. Has anyone else seen the Kyle Farnsworth pictures?
Yes.
Oh,
What the
ripped.
fuck, Kyle Farnsworth?
Googling them as we speak. What
I
do
would do
Google?
that right now.
Bodybuilder
What the fuck?
Kyle
Is he, like,
Farnsworth.
taking
Kyle
daily-
Farnsworth bodybuilding. Okay.
Yeah, daily
Holy
injections
shit.
in the ass because holy shit.
Oh, that's hilarious! Wow.
As my former coworker at the environmental lab in Syracuse that I worked at said, like, Farnsworth could throw a fucking fastball through a car wash and it couldn't get wet, but the guy still hit home runs every time because it doesn't move.
You know what's
Like-
funny? He's still like in the picture. He still's got the same glasses on.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Holy
good.
shit.
Oh,
It's huge.
Crazy.
sorry. I know, Colin, you have one more question, but when you said that, I had to bring up Farnsworth because when I saw that today, I went, holy crap.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
No, that was good. No, so my question, I was listening, the Athletic has a daily podcast. Actually, this is a complete opposite of you, Andrew. I feel like this season has gotten me more into baseball, even though I have a almost 2-year-old terrorizing the house as well. But so I listen, to your guys' podcast, and I'm listening to like as much baseball. And the Athletic has a daily podcast. And today they had a round table, and they were talking about what constitutes as a dynasty in baseball. And I don't remember which one of them. So I don't even remember the 3 people who were on the round table, but they were basically, one of the guys was like, the Dodgers, the current Dodgers iteration is a dynasty. And they were saying that the Braves, like back in the 90s, that was a dynasty. And I'm like, how can you say the Braves were a dynasty when the Yankees were the dynasty of the 90s and everything? So I'm just like, what do you like? Are you guys reasonable people who think a dynasty is like you have to win multiple championships within like a certain year window, or like what's dynasty for you in the sport of baseball? Andrew, you go first.
You definitely have to win more than one championship, and
Okay.
you definitely have to win. Your one championship can't be the COVID championship. Sorry, Dodgers.
Yeah. 100%.
Yes, that too. Oh my
Do
god.
you consider the early 2010s Giants a dynasty?
That's a good question.
Was
They
it
won-
the 3 and 5 years?
They won
Right.
3 championships. but I believe I gotta
10,
verify
12,
this.
and 14, I think.
Yeah, 10, 12, 14. Mhm.
I have to verify this as we're going through this. So they won in 2010. In 2011, they didn't make the playoffs. They won
Yeah.
in 2012. In 2013, they didn't make the playoffs. They won in 2014, 2015, they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they did win 3 championships in 5 years, which on the surface of it is definitely a dynasty. But then they didn't make the freaking playoffs the next year.
No dynasty. Nope.
So like they're in my mind still closer to a dynasty than the Dodgers are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like even that, I'm like, you can't go all or nothing every year. You have to be a dynasty, in my mind, is for a long span, call it a decade. You are always a championship contender.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you win the championship.
Sustained excellence for a decade. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
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 And I think the Yankees team of the 90s exemplifies that. And I think like in basketball, the Golden State Warriors exemplify that as well. 4 championships in 8 years. So that's almost a decade of being really competitive outside of what last year when they had a bunch of injuries or whatever, but different sport. But
Guys,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him that much credit because
I'm seeing it too. That's awesome.
Insane. Yeah.
No, but Yes Network is just talking about this.
Farnsworth is on.
Oh, that was on. Oh, because you have the game on.
I have the game on.
That's
like
right.
literally, they're just showing this on. I'm not listening, obviously, but like,
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think he did
Wow.
have the same glasses on in those pictures.
Oh,
did these
man.
pictures like just surface today or something?
yesterday and today, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But again, it was one of those like, holy fuck, like, what the hell, man? He was our setup guy for like 2 years.
Mhm.
98 with no movement.
Yep.
Kyle gasoline on the fire, Farnsworth.
Yeah, I would probably say no to the Giants too, just because they were like a more compact, better version of what the Red Sox were between like 2007 and 2018. Like the Red Sox won what they finished dead last in 2012, and then they won the World Series in 2013, and then they were like so for all those years in between, and then they were the best team in baseball in 2018, and they've been kind of so since then. Like
I mean, you could make an argument for the Braves of the 90s because they did win their division like 13 straight years. They had the
14,
best,
I think. Yeah.
they had the best record over that span in baseball. And they did make the championship 3 times, even though they only won it 4 times. They made the championship 4 times. Early in the 90s against the Twins, they lost.
Mhm.
They beat Cleveland. Then they lost to the Yankees twice. So at least they got to the championship 4 times over that 13 years. So it's like, borderline dynasty. Giants, borderline
Judge
dynasty.
just hit another homer.
Nice.
Okay.
Woo.
Giants were under 500, by the way, in 2013, in between 2 of those titles.
Yeah,
Well, and I'll say
can't do
that,
that.
Colin, for
Yeah.
your Warriors thing. Like in 2019, the Warriors were 15-50.
Yeah,
They
I'm pretty
finished
sure
with
Clay
15.
and Steph were out. That
And then, but in 2021, they were 39-33, and they finished 8th.
yeah, and Clay was out again. Yeah. I mean, it's a totally different sport. It's really hard to compare because
But they've
like,
also won like 4 titles in 7 years. I feel like
Yeah,
that
4
kind
in
of
8 years.
outweighs, right?
yeah. I mean, but that's the difference. Is like you can have if you're a truly if your depth is really good in baseball, like you can withstand like the Braves did last year, having an injury to one of your star players. Like if you lose a star player in basketball or 2 star players like the Warriors did, like you're done. Like there's no coming back from that. But that's also the flip side is like you just need 2 really great players in basketball and you can win a lot. Whereas in baseball,
Not the case.
that was a drive.
Well, again, we've talked about this before. Like, offensively, Judge can only affect the game 4 or 5 times a game versus you can give the ball to Curry every time they go up the court, right?
Mhm.
And that's the big difference in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers can throw the ball every down for the Packers. Steph Curry can have the ball every possession for the Warriors. Judge only going to be up 4 or 5 times a game, maybe.
Yeah, so it's more of an argument for you can't go first place to last place in
Yeah.
between your championships. Even if the Giants were in the playoffs those other years and one and done in the playoffs, they're at least in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you can make an argument for it. Yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers would need to win another championship, and then maybe they've got a case, because they've been the best team. They've been the best franchise in baseball for 10 years. They've made the playoffs every year, and this would, if they win another championship, then probably got to give it to them, because they did make 2 others.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many other times? 2017
and 18.
17 and 18. Yeah.
18. Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
And
Red
they've
Sox.
won. I'm looking.
And like, I mean, you can't do this because who knows, but like, if do they have a legit claim to that 2017 championship? Like,
oh, right. Yeah. And they won 104 games and then 106 games twice. I mean, we talked about this on a pod episode a long while back, Andrew, but we went and we looked through like baseball history. 101 wins, 102 wins, not that uncommon, right? Even 103 wins a few times. But for whatever reason, up around 104, 105, it has not happened much in history. So the fact that the Dodgers have won 104 and 106 twice since 2017, that's pretty fucking impressive.
And I think
since 2017.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've seen it. We've seen 100 wins more over the past couple of years. Let's call it 5 years. Like there was obviously last year, wasn't it last year, the Giants and the Dodgers both won
106 and 107,
games.
I think, right? Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Fairly recently, didn't the Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Brewers all win like 99 plus? Like, didn't that happen in a recent year?
It had to be.
Am I making that up?
It had to be either 2019 or 2021 last year.
Cubs won 103 in 2016.
Right, yeah. The Cubs haven't been good. Yeah, so it was
maybe
further back.
Maybe I'm mistaken that. Anyway, it's like then a couple years ago, the Yankees, Twins, and Astros all won 100 games. So we're seeing a lot of top heaviness in the league, and then a lot of bottom feeders, which allows teams to win 100 games. Is because
right.
you go 9-1 against a team.
It's like, wait, they were bringing up like the Rays going, what was it, 18-1 against the Orioles last year.
Yeah.
Like that only happens when you've got teams tanking like the Orioles.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's what Ethan texted us like a week ago, and Torkelson, whatever.
Spencer Torkelson for the Tigers.
Yeah, for the Tigers.
He's like,
he's playing atrocious, and I was like, well, he's their first baseman because they're not going to give money. The whole reason they traded the dude who hit 4 homers in a row against the Yankees is because they didn't want to pay him. Like that's the whole economics of baseball right now. That's so out of whack. It's like, it's not just the Rays. There's so many of those bottom feeders that don't want to pay any money, including the Orioles, who I can't stand as an organization.
Well, but remember the Tigers they signed Javi Baez. Like they are spending.
Okay, they spent for one player.
Yeah.
But as we just talked about, Javi Baez is not going to win them a World Series.
Yeah, Javi Baez.
Wow.
So
yeah.
But I think that's why you see so many 100-win teams, though, is because it's like those Oriole teams in the past few years, they've been terrible, like awful.
So it was 2015. God, that was way longer ago than I thought it was.
Wow.
The Cardinals won 100, the Pirates won 98, and the Cubs won 97 in the same division. You had 3 97 plus win teams in one division.
The same division. Yeah, that's crazy.
They would have been all 3 playoff teams if the current format was in play.
All of them had better records than any team in the American League.
Wow. Really quickly before we move on, and since we were shitting on the Orioles and we're looking at team records and stuff, and we're talking about top heavy and bottom heavy, since 2018, we're not going to count COVID year, so let's count the 3 full seasons, 2018, 19, and 21. The Orioles lost 115 games, 108 games, and 110 games. Disgusting. Despicable. Yeah.
Inexcusable.
Yeah. Like, how do they still have any fans? Like this is like Cleveland Browns territory. Like after they sign like Deshaun Watson or something, and you're just like, you know what? I can't support this franchise anymore.
That's what the Astros did for the first half of the 2010s.
Yeah, I guess that's true, huh?
And then they got Correa, Bregman.
Right. At least they were smart and they got good players.
Springer. Like they got Altuve. They got
fucking loaded. Yeah.
They were loaded.
Well, the Orioles have that catcher. He's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah. Adley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Adley Rutschman. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Astros 3 years in a row, 106, 107, and 111 losses. So yeah, that's pretty that's pretty terrible too.
But to swing this back around, then how many years did the Yankees miss the playoffs? 2.
Since when?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like before.
Since like
Since we've been
96.
alive, I don't know, since 1996.
Oh, 08 and 2016.
13, no.
Yeah.
2013,
And yet we
14.
still have,
13,
I guess
14, and 16.
it's a nice shining example. And again, people shit on Cashman, myself included sometimes, but it's a nice shining example of you don't have to do that.
Cashman's like the best GM in the game.
Yeah.
It's not what we were all saying 6 months ago.
No, I know, but Kay
see how
did
I
go off
converted
on
them
the
all,
show
Andrew?
last week.
I've been a Cash homer for ages.
I'm not ready to call Cashman the best GM in the game yet.
I'll take consistently top 5.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's different.
That is different. Yeah.
That's what all the Mets quote unquote magic that they're having this year. I'm like, Buck Showalter, Yankee, Billy Epler, Yankee. Like, there's a lot of Yankee magic in that Met magic.
Yeah, right? Really. Yeah.
I don't want to take credit for Buck Showalter though, so you can he's an Oriole.
And he's a Ranger before that and a Diamondback before that.
I don't want to take credit for Buck Showalter.
Spent more time in the Yankee organization than all those other organizations combined. I think
we can indirectly give Gene Michael the credit.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Always good to have a stick reference.
Yeah.
So apparently the Jeter documentary that comes out on ESPN is going to spend a lot of time talking about Gene Michael and how he had
good. It's not going to spend a lot of time talking about A-Rod apparently.
Interesting.
His fingerprints on the organization
Dynasty.
in the 90s. Yeah.
Well, that'll be fascinating, actually.
I hope so. I mean,
hopefully, yes.
Jeter's on like an all-out promo tour now for this thing, joining Instagram, joining Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, he's gone from like never being heard of to today. He was tweeting at Jeter down saying, "I hope you have a great season, just not against the Yankees." I was like, "Where did this come from?"
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually him running the thing, but
yeah,
right.
His name on it.
Yeah, yep. And the blue check mark, right?
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys. Well, I think we got all the Yankee talking that we can get for one episode. Glaber might hit a go-ahead 2-run homer here, but that's about it. What I've got, unless you guys got anything.
The Cleveland Guardians are in first place.
They've been hot.
What
Dude,
the
Central in the American League and the National League, no team has 40 wins yet. The Yankees
I know
have
they're
50.
garbage, but still, the Cleveland Guardians, which they're just like, they're Shane Bieber, Jose Ramirez, and then a bunch of like guys they found at the Rock Hall, like I said last week. Like, hey, you want to play baseball? Okay, cool. Like first place. So
that is pretty amazing.
Holy shit! Yeah.
The Twins.
I wanted to bring up.
The Twins are tanking. The White Sox, that was their division to lose, and they're losing it.
Yeah, fucking
Tony
La Russa, baby.
The guys have already talked about how much La Russa's fucking things up, but pardon the language.
Yeah, you need to apologize for your language on this podcast. We rarely ever say swear words.
Yeah, I hope you don't have the baby monitor close by, Andrew.
Hi, Stella. That's all. That's all I wanted to bring up. That holy crap.
That's very cool. Really quickly, the Braves actually won 5 pennants. They went to the series in 91 and 92.
Oh.
Yeah.
91. Oh, right. They lost to the
Braves,
Blue Jays.
Or the Blue Jays, yeah.
Yeah. So Braves. 5 pennants between 91 and 99. And I'm looking at their records. And actually, if you include all the way up to 2003 and you go back to 91, it's pretty goddamn impressive.
Yeah. No, they were sustained excellence.
Yeah.
They really, just needed one more
title, like unequivocal, like
and they should
dynasty.
Like, let's be objective here, guys. That 96 title, that was theirs.
Yeah.
Okay. They're up 2-0 going home, and they blew it.
Yeah.
The Yankees, I think the fact that they went on to become a dynasty softens the blow for the Braves. But say the Yankees just didn't turn into the late 90s Yankees, the Braves were looking back at that 96 title like, holy shit, did we blow that?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they still feel that way. I've heard like Chipper Jones talk about, how that's the one that got away. But I mean, they talk about all the time how, I mean, and I think it was like game 2. Game 1 was the blowout, but game 2, like Maddox shut them down, and they were like in the dugout, just like this is over. Like they were just relaxed. The series is over and everything. And yeah, I think like if we talked about this with Joe Torre a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Like I think if you like go back in time and you see some of the decisions that Bobby Cox made, you can very clearly see why they didn't win, even though they had, arguably a great team, one of the best teams at year in and year out. But Bobby probably just wasn't a great tactical manager at the end of the day. Just had a lot of good talent, and they won during the regular season. But yeah,
you're right, and Andrew's right. Like that very well could have been like the Yankees don't become a dynasty, and it's the Indians. The '97 Indians become the dominating force for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that roster enough.
Oh yeah.
And yet,
yeah, but I don't think that roster stayed together all that long.
No,
Like
I
past
know.
97.
I mean, after Jose Mesa in '97, they just kind of.
Yeah, but they probably, the end of that run for them probably ended when Manny signed in Boston.
Yeah. What's that, like 2000, 2001?
I think it was 2000. I think it was 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, Bell was gone.
Yeah.
Comey was leaving for Philadelphia soon.
Right,
Manny's
but
gone.
They still had Manny, Tommy,
Omar.
Alomar.
Richie Sexton.
Yeah.
Richie Sexton.
No,
wow.
did they have Richie Sexton on that team?
Got to be close.
Oh, David
Close.
Justice was on the '97 team.
Yeah,
Justice.
Justice was great.
And he was good then. Yeah.
Justice was also on that Braves '96 team, and he was hurt.
Yep.
In the playoffs.
Yep. Big reason that Jermaine Dye was called up, played right field.
Yeah.
On that team. Yep. Yeah, because I think Justice hit the game-winning homer in '95 when they clinched it.
Yep.
In Atlanta. So.
Yeah, the Braves definitely probably feel like they should have won '96. And then they're definitely a dynasty, right? If they win 95, 96 plus all those other playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you even look at the years when they didn't make the World Series. Like, how did the Phillies beat them in '93? And like, how did the Padres beat them in '98? Like,
But see, that happens. That always happens. It's like, but that's the point of being a dynasty is, you're going to have teams get hot at the right time and beat you, but you're always there. You're not sitting 5 games under 500 out of the playoffs.
Right.
So true. All right, boys. Well, this has been a treat.
Yes.
Andrew, always a pleasure having you on. We
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming.
Go check out Bronx Pinstripes. At least a couple times a week, you're putting out episodes, if not more. So hopefully the Yankees come out and come back tonight, and you'll have some more positive things to talk about. At the very least, you have 2 more homers for Judge, and really heat up that 61 homer talk.
Nice. Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me on. Always a good time.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.